So what happens when a scientific field helps create a technology that gets so powerful it threatens to make that entire field obsolete? It sounds kind of like a sci-fi plot, right? But we're looking at a real-life story here. A science at a crossroads where its own creation is challenging everything it thought it knew. And this isn't some far-off hypothetical question anymore. For one specific community of scientists, the reality of AI taking over these human tasks is a full-blown present-day crisis. And believe me, it is shaking their entire field right to its core. So, in this explainer, we're going to be detectives. Yep, we're going to follow a trail of data from a really fascinating new research paper to understand how this community is dealing with a massive disruption. Are they adapting? Are they dying out? Or maybe, just maybe, are they being reborn as something completely new? Okay, first things first, let's meet the field that's right at the center of our whole mystery. It's called human computation. The basic idea here is brilliant, and it's actually pretty simple. For decades, you've had all these tasks that are incredibly hard for computers, but, super easy for us humans, like spotting a cat in a picture or understanding tricky language. Well, human computation built systems to farm out these little micro-tasks to millions of people online, creating this powerful mix of human and machine intelligence. For about a decade, this field was really in its golden age, what some would call a period of normal science, where all the rules of the game were pretty well understood. You see, during these years, researchers were all about refining the system. They were asking questions like, how do we actually get good answers from the crowd? How do we pay people fairly? How can we build real-time apps that are powered by people? They were basically just solving puzzles inside a very stable, very successful framework. And look, this work was absolutely essential. I mean, the AI revolution we're all living through today was pretty much built on the backs of this research. All those massive datasets needed to train machine learning models, yeah, they were labeled by millions of human crowd workers. Human computation was kind of the secret engine room of the whole AI boom. But then, the engine they helped build suddenly became powerful enough to replace the engine room itself. Right around 2018, and then it just accelerated like crazy with models like GPT-3. Generative AIs started doing the very things that were once outsourced to humans. I'm talking labeling images, writing text, even coming up with creative ideas. The core assumption of the entire field that you needed humans for this stuff was suddenly on very shaky ground. This wasn't just some new tool. It was a fundamental existential challenge to the field's identity. I mean, if AI can generate data cheaper and faster, what's the role of the human crowd? And maybe even scarier, if the crowd workers themselves start using AI to do their tasks, how can you even trust the human data you're collecting? The whole system was facing a massive crisis of confidence. So, how did the scientific community respond to all this? Did they panic? Did they just ignore it? Well, to find out, the researchers behind our source paper dug into 12 years of scientific publications from the field's top conference, HCOMP. Let's see what the data shows us. The first clue is this really dramatic shift in what scientists are even studying. A decade ago, it was all about the mechanics of crowdsourcing, labeling, quality, incentives. But now, the hot topics are all about the relationship between humans and AI. How do we make AI understandable? How do we build systems where humans and AI actually make decisions together? The entire conversation has completely changed. Okay, clue number 2 is in the language itself. Back in 2014, all the research papers talked about crowd workers and task workers, kind of viewing people as just cogs in a machine. Fast forward to 2024, and those terms have pretty much vanished. They've been replaced by phrases like AI human and AI crowd. Now, this isn't just a change in words, it's a huge shift from seeing humans as a labor pool to seeing them as collaborators. And this isn't just a hunch either. The data trail is solid. We're talking about an analysis of 250 research articles over 12 years, which all leads to this one crucial insight. See, the whole perspective has fundamentally flipped. The focus is no longer just on getting work from humans, but on figuring out how humans can work with AI. Okay, so we've seen the evidence. The field has definitely changed. But what do we call this change? Is it a total revolution, or is it something else? To get an answer, the paper uses a classic framework for understanding how science evolves. So the philosopher Thomas Kuhn argued that science moves in phases. A field starts out a bit messy, then it settles into a period of normal science where everyone's on the same page. But When problems or anomalies start piling up that the old ideas can't solve, the field enters a crisis. And if that crisis gets bad enough, it can lead to a revolution, where the old way of thinking gets completely thrown out. And this difference is really key. A crisis, that's a period of intense questioning, of exploration. It's a time of uncertainty where the whole community knows the old way isn't working, but they haven't settled on a new one yet. The field is in flux. A revolution, on the other hand, is a sudden, clean break. Boom. It's like when the world switched from thinking the sun revolved around the Earth to knowing the Earth revolved around the sun. It's a total paradigm shift. So, what's the verdict for human computation? Well, based on all the data, the paper concludes the field is in the crisis phase. The shift has been gradual, it wasn't a sudden snap. Those core assumptions are being questioned everywhere you look, but a single, new, revolutionary idea hasn't taken over, at least not yet. The field is actively searching for its new identity. So what's next for them? This crisis isn't necessarily a bad thing. In fact, it's a sign of a living, breathing scientific field that's grappling with one of the most important technological shifts in our history. And that brings us to where the paper begins, with this simple Latin question, Quo vadis? Where are you going? The future of human computation? Well, it's totally unwritten. Will it merge with AI ethics? Will it focus on creating new kinds of human-AI collaboration we can't even dream of yet? The data tells us the old world is gone, but the new one, it's still being built, one research paper at a time. And it's a fascinating moment to be watching it all unfold.